Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope all of you are fine. No need to say about the intense time we are crossing through. The pandemic and its impact are everywhere. So, amid this crisis and intensity, we thought to organize one webinar for the IAS aspirants who are waiting for their examination, postponed to October. Anyway, so I know your interest and your curiosities. You must be having great many queries and economy for civil service examination based on recent economic developments. Here I will discuss the preparation strategy for overall Indian economy, and I will emphasize at the end the recent developments which have taken place in the time. Before we begin, I should share with you what is plan of this webinar. You will find we have basically compartmentalized this webinar into 5 parts. In first part, I would like to discuss with you the syllabi of general studies, prelims, mains, including the essay 1. At the same time, I will also highlight the importance of the segment Indian economy. This will be first segment of our webinar today. The second segment will be how to prepare Indian economy. No need to say, so that aspirants are able to handle the questions in PT, in mains, in essay, as well as the personality test. Our third subtopic will be recent socio-economic developments, in which I will try to highlight and outline the important issues and events you should cover a bit more seriously. In the fourth part, I would like to give you a brief idea about the book Indian Economy, published by McGraw-Hill in paperback edition, 12th edition. What is special about this book and related issues? Fifth and the last part of our webinar is going to be question and answer session. So in the same order, I will be sharing some ideas with you. Still, great many of you are joining and great many are already hooked up with me. So I wish to now begin with my discussion with the first topic, syllabi and the importance of Indian economy. You will see here that the syllabi given by UPSC, I mean shared by UPSC for the general studies prelim examination and main examination, you will find are not exhaustive. Rather, they are reflective in nature. What I mean to say, a great many things which are written, questions come from there. But there are several issues which are not mentioned in the syllabi. Still, questions are asked by UPSC in the examinations every year. It means even written syllabus prescribed by UPSC is not enough. You need to be a bit creative and dynamic to know what you are supposed to study. What I mean to say, what I suggest the students that you need to create the syllabi by going into the questions asked in previous year examinations and current socio-economic developments. I hope you got the point. First, search through the questions which have been asked in past few years to know the nature of question, the depth of question, the quality of question, and then be in the current socio-economic development. Only then you can create syllabi. Only then you can have idea from where questions might be asked. Coming to a little bit about the importance of this segment Indian economy. In general studies PT, questions on Indian economy and socio-economic development of India may go 50 plus. The number could be 50 plus also. In past few years, the numbers have been in between 25 to 35. Imagine the year there were 50 questions asked. It was the sole subject which was deciding who is going to pass and who is going to fail. This is importance of Indian economy at the level of prelims exam. Coming to mains exam. Economy is part of general studies paper 3. Around 60% plus questions are asked on Indian economy. Even in science and technology section, the questions which are asked, they basically belong to the segment Indian economy. Similarly, in other papers of general studies at the mains level, great many questions are asked which are basically covered by economics and Indian economy. In case of the paper essay, what you will find invariably, out of 4, 2 essays are invariably asked on burling socio-economic issues. It means that by covering contemporary socio-economic issues, you are not going to only help yourself at the prelims level in general studies, but you will be helping yourself in essay paper also. That is a very deciding paper in this examination. The last segment and the last leg of civil services examination is personality development, which is more popularly known as interview. A great many questions are asked on economics, Indian economy, economic diplomacy, etc. In many cases, interview begins with economy and ends with economy. There have been real life examples of it. Lastly, you can say, in a sense, you can call GS economics, that is general studies economics or Indian economy, or general studies socio-economic development in India, as the very gateway to GS and civil services examination. So this part, I simply conveyed you two messages. What exactly the syllabi is, how to create that syllabi, and what is the significance and importance of this segment in the civil services examination. Allow me to move on to the next area of our discussion. That is how to prepare Indian economy. No need to say, aspirants across the country are extremely interested in knowing the best readings and references. I keep getting such queries when students meet me in person or through mail, through WhatsApp, whatever be the medium. Okay, readings and references matter. There is no doubt in this. More than that, the strategy matters. And a strategy remains the same for all of the papers in the exams. Though I am going to focus on proprietary dimension of Indian economy, The formula which I am going to share with you, it is universal in nature, which should be applied by you on any segment of either general studies or optional. What are the basics of preparing the economic segment in this exam? I hope you got the point. When I say GS economics, I mean fundamental and theoretical part of economics. I mean economics part of India, that is known as Indian economics, and finally Indian economy, the dynamic part of Indian economy which keeps changing every day. I generally suggest students to prepare for this examination, you need to follow a three-dimensional approach. This is what UPSC actually expects from you. And uh, I mean to say, the preparational strategy for this examination is having three coordinates. And these coordinates are as it is visible to you on the screen. The first dimension of this preparation is one should have adequate amount of information, which you can call the base of knowledge. It means the information and knowledge you have, it should not be less than required and never more than required. So here, adequate word has very deep meaning. And for this purpose, students keep running after right kind of readings, references, and list of books. I will share with you what sort of things you should read. Means what you should read so that you are able to have enough information, adequate degree of knowledge. This is first dimension of first coordinate of preparation. The second dimension of preparation and the strategy, or you can call the second coordinate of a strategy is conceptual clarity. About what? Conceptual clarity about the information or knowledge which you have been acquiring from diverse sources. Conceptual clarity, I mean, let me give you a small example. Data on inflation is, you will find that data on inflation are released by official sources every month, every quarter, every half year, and annually. So knowing data of inflation in case of India is all about current economy. But other than that, the importance and the meaning of changing rates of inflation can only be used by you once you are clear about the concept of inflation. When you try to understand what inflation is, you are dealing with economics of inflation. In due course of time, inflation has its own peculiar behavior in case of India. When you are studying about and trying to understand, you are gathering information and trying to understand the extraordinary and special behavior of inflation in case of India. You are dealing with economics part of inflation in case of India. That is Indian economics of inflation. And finally, what has been rate of inflation last month? That is Indian economy. It means cramming current informations related to inflation can only help you once you have conceptual clarity about the dynamics of inflation. This is what I mean by conceptual clarity of the information and the knowledge. This is second coordinate. And these two coordinates are not separated from each other. They are interlinked. And the third and the last dimension and the coordinate of the strategy is ability to apply, which means your whatever knowledge you have, Whatever concepts you are clear about, can you apply them in objective type of questions? Can you use them in answering subjective answers? This is what I mean by ability to apply. You know, even last time the civil services syllabus was changed by UPSC, there were three reasons why syllabus was changed. One of it was make this exam applicatory in nature. Okay, according to them, hitherto examination was based on rote learning. Rote learning is cramming, the method of learning where you cram things. Okay, reading repeatedly, listening repeatedly. At the end of the day, you have memorized. This is cramming. Okay, cramming can be done without understanding. So the intention was to change the nature of examination from being based on rote learning to applied learning. The intention is the aspirant should not be only knowing things. They should not be only having conceptual clarity of the things. Rather, they should be able to utilize the concepts and information. Rather, I can give you one example, very simple example. We all know what we mean by 2 minutes noodle. It has become now proverb also. It is almost pre-cooked food. Okay, what is happening now since 2010 when syllabus was revised? You will be given kitchen with all goods there, food items. You are supposed to prepare the food and the dish. Cramming won't help. Cramming won't help here. You can look upon this in another way. Earlier, students were supposed to write answers, put emphasis on write. Earlier, students were supposed to write answers. Do you know what is now? Now students are supposed to create answers. I hope you understand the basic difference between writing answer and creating answer. This is why you find at the PT level and at the mains level, most of questions you see for the first time. Some of them are so original in nature. You need to first understand what exactly this question means. Then you need to think what I'm supposed to write. This is the process of creating answers. Okay. So in this part, how to prepare Indian economy, I did not go into the references and readings. I will come to that later on. Don't worry. Okay. But aspirants should be not worried about good books, good references, and material. They should be rather having the capacity and the ability to follow the right strategy. Okay. Otherwise, having good references, good readings, which you can buy, which you can procure, which you can purchase over there, just wishing I will become IAS. So wish cannot be a strategy. Wish is just a wish which everybody might have. Wish supported by proper strategy can only bring in desired result from you. So the basic strategy is to read as much it is enough from the best sources. Whatever you are reading, you should develop conceptual clarity together with ability to apply so that you are able to apply your knowledge, whatever you have gathered. You should be practicing objective questions and writing subjective answers. Okay, I always suggest the student that without practicing, you will never be test yourself to whether you can apply knowledge or not. This is what I mean to say about the how to prepare Indian economic law. Okay, soon I will share with you the references also. Okay, so I'm moving on to the next subtopic of our webinar, and that is recent socio-economic developments. Okay, You will find here कि every year in this examination, not only Indian economy segment, rather the whole examination of civil services remains based on the latest official informations available and where from those informations are used by the examiners or the question setters. They are basically prominently India 2020 for this year, Economic Survey 2019-20, both of the volumes, Union Budget 2020-21, and other official documents of importance. Okay? Basically, questions are based on these information. No need to say if for me, they are the most important readings and references for an IAS aspirant. Other than this, you can read few important documents published by Niti Aayog, for example, 7-year strategy framework paper, the 15 years action agenda that is awaited still to be published, and 3 years action agenda. Okay, they are in a sense official current. They are not exactly current in the sense you use the word current, because when you use word current, you mean news item of yesterday and day before yesterday and today. Okay, that is really current. But an examination which occurs every year or once in a year, for it, current means the latest survey and budget. Clear? India 2020 will give you information a little bit less updated in comparison to economic survey and budget. Okay, so they are your most prominent references. Other than that, Yojana Kurukshetra, publication division journals, everybody knows you have to study. People ask me especially whether they should study the NCRT books of 12th and 11th. Okay, that is not essential. Okay, but if you think to read that, you can. Because why we read NCRT of 11th, 12th? The simple thing is, let me know at least this much economics, which at least children study. It never means the questions are based on NCRT or whatever has been written in NCRT, they are basically the last truth and the most important and the final correct. No, this examination can be based on government documents, not on the NCRT. But to familiarize yourself to what exactly economics is all about, Indian economy is all about at a school level. At least this much you should know. That's why students refer NCRT books for any paper, for any subject. Okay, what went different this time? After publication of Economic Survey Union Budget, you will find almost the whole document going completely away from the track. The budget has been reduced, and whatever projections Economic Survey made, they will naturally go almost wrong. Surprisingly, the day Economic Survey was published, just one day before, the first case of coronavirus was reported from one state, Kerala. Just 2 days after this news came into being, our union budget was presented, but we don't find any mention, any reference of coronavirus or COVID-19 pandemic in any of the documents. Naturally, it was not possible for the government to assess the impact, or nobody by that time in our country might have thought this will take such a big shape and it will create such a big havoc and chaos in economic system and in our life. So at present, one a special mention of COVID-19 impact on the economy. Government's attempt in the direction of supporting the stakeholders, related economic reforms, which have been done several by the government, and financial stimulus for economic revival and etc., they are all interconnected. So whatever economic survey suggested government of India, great many of them were included by the upcoming Union Budget 2020-21. But in wake of the pandemic, which we are very much in, the whole mechanism of fiscal management went for a kind of gerrymandering. And you find restructuring taking place everywhere regarding the economic recovery, minimizing the economic damage, checking the economic disruption, the supply chain disruption. About every aspect of Indian economy, government has basically restructured the very strategy of its Union Budget 2021. What I mean to say, you must focus what impact COVID-19 have on Indian economy segment-wise, area-wise, agriculture, industry, MSME, banking, insurance, finance, healthcare, education, retail, wholesale, manufacturing, a great many things. Okay, and then some reflections on current domestic and global economic scenario I would like to share with you. Okay, so I hope you are able to prepare your booklets and reference what you are supposed to study for preparation of Indian economic segment for this examination. Other than survey, budget, and India, you can use one dependable book for Indian economy, which have been especially developed for civil surveillance. Then, if you are able to handle Indian economic development, NCRT, and theory part of NCRT 12th standard, that is micro and macroeconomic theory, you can study. Otherwise, you can handle without them also. Okay. Then Yojana and Kurukshetra, and just keep practicing. This is all about readings and references. Keep in your mind, be it paper of general studies, paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, paper 4, whatever be it optional, any optional. On the tables of questions etc., these official documents must be lying. Okay? The most of questions are rooted in these documents. If someone is not able to get the clue, he might not be able to understand these documents and importance of these documents. Okay, and these documents are basically not like book. You are not supposed to read them like a book. They are references. So suppose you need to know about the dynamics of inflation last year or dynamics of banking industry last year. So go in the banking pages and just 1 or 2 pages, nothing more than that. No need to cram these documents like a book. Okay. Coming to reflections on current domestic and global economic scenario. Say, still no government of the world is known what has been economic impact of COVID-19 on their economy. No need to say, even World Bank, IMF, and even institutions are not clear what will be size of the damage which this pandemic is going to have on the economic system. You might have seen how much financial and fiscal stimulus governments of the world should be pushing for. Even on this point, financial associations of the world have not been agreed and there have been a lack of consensus. They have been realizing if first UNDP will say, first UNCTAD will say, $1 trillion fiscal stimulus this world needs. But what we find after 2 quarters, world needs fiscal stimulus of over $2 trillion. So this is the situation of data. It is till you are not clear what will be size of damage. Once you are not clear which sector will be getting impacted how much, how you can suggest a government to run fiscal stimulus. So this is the situation. Quite uncertain, never seen, never imagined. Okay. So scenario of domestic and global economic are completely in the mode of chaos, total disruption. Though we won't be asked much about global economic scenario. But you know, in today's time when Indian economy is more connected to the global economy out there, you won't be able to understand domestic economic affairs if you are not having idea about global economic scenario. Okay? Not only this, the process of globalization and the changing economic order of global economy have basically given Indian economic policy a new subtle shift. And that subtle shift is all about economic diplomacy. Okay? So the current economic scenario in case of our economy is that India has already given a call for self-reliance, not for the first time, but in so a specific term, one campaign has been launched by government that is Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. Okay, and you know, through this Abhiyan, government of India has announced a package of around 20 lakh crore rupees stimulus. That is around 10% of India's GDP in present time. Okay, no doubt. This 20 lakh crore rupees package includes aids, it includes welfare actions for poor migrant laborers. Together with that, it includes basically financial support also. Critics have been basically not happy. They wish to have 20 lakh crore rupees or any lakh crore rupees as a kind of financial aid because financial stimulus or fiscal stimulus is more treated like a kind of pumping helicopter money in the economic system. Okay. In any case, whether government gives it like an aid or whether government is giving interest relaxation to certain category of borrowers, be it MSME or anybody, the expenditure will appear in revenue account of India or expenditure will appear in the revenue expenditure part of the budget. So critics were not happy. They thought fiscal stimulus means giving a kind of doles and free lunch to different segments and stakeholders. But government thought to hand over help, financial help, attached with responsibility. Surprisingly, just 2 days back, you might have heard, European Union had their historic meeting regarding reviving their economic system, and they agreed on a financial stimulus package of $680 billion in American dollars. Okay, you will be surprised to know that more than 80% of this stimulus package in the form of loans, not grants. Grants means free help, financial help. Loan means concessional interest rate or no interest rate. You are supposed to return it back. Okay. It means to the extent our government fiscal stimulus of 20 lakh crore is concerned, which government thought to call an economic package. Okay. It was not out of sync. Whole European Union has exactly gone for similar kind of action. But together with that, you see, government has given financial support to poor people also, distributing food grains, distributing pulses, okay, going for one nation, one ration card. Variety of schemes have been channelized by government of India. Great many reforms have been launched by government of India in foreign investment in the area of agriculture system, MSME category, and great many are at present in effect. This is about the reflections of current domestic and global economic scenario. What I mean to say, whatever you read in the name of current affairs, don't depend only on economic survey and union budget. Rather, you should be updating yourself at least up to June, July. Okay, at least June should be the marketable. The last subtopic of this part I wish to discuss with you, that is basically coping with the pandemic. It is a bit personal. You can call over there. Exactly not connected to recent socio-economic development or a strategy for this examination. What I mean to say, we are crossing through a very tense time. So, very casually and in any moment, one might be feeling a bit depressed. Okay, so I will suggest you, it don't let you down. Try to cope up with this pandemic. Okay, and few suggestions are there which I myself practice basically. I never suggest anything which I myself don't practice. Okay, always take healthy, natural, and correct food and diet. You will ask me what? Wherever you belong, basically, any region, any part of the country, whatever your local people consume or what is locally consumed, take them. Avoid packaged food. Okay, this is what I mean. Healthy food, not enough. Controlled food. Second, a little bit of exercise you can do even if you are not allowed to go outside or you are avoiding going outside. And the last part, a little bit of meditation and some pranayam you must do. This is what I wish all for you. And then you will be able to cope up with this pandemic. I am trying to do the same with me also. Okay. So, together with preparing for civil services, you are supposed to keep your health maintained, your mind maintained, and let not allow you to be bogged down by the crisis of this pandemic. This is about our this leg of discussion. Okay. Now, I hope all of you must be interested to know about the new edition of the book Indian Economy. So, I have basically prepared one small discussion on the paperback edition of the book Indian Economy 2020-21. You know, or may not be knowing, the 12th edition book has been released twice. The first it was released on Kindle, that is Amazon, which has yellow background cover. That book was not bad, that was good. But what went wrong? By the time we were preparing for the publication of paperback edition, due to great many disruptions, printing this and that, on time, paperback edition could not go to the press. In the meantime, after publication of the Kindle edition, what we saw, the date for PT exam was postponed. So you will find the paperback edition is an upgraded and revised edition upon the Kindle edition which McGraw Hill Education published. So why this has been done? The paperback edition of Indian Economy, that is 12th edition, how it is different and why it is different from the EPUB and e-book edition which were released on Kindle few months back. Why we did that? Okay, there were two prominent reasons. The first reason was UPSC Prelim 2020 exam got postponed by UPSC for October 4th, 2020. So we needed to incorporate the updates till June and even going up to early July 2020 because exams are not going to take place in May. In place of that, exam is going to take place in October. The students must be given latest updates. So the paperback edition is updated till early July 2020. This is first reason why this paperback edition is different and revised upon the Kindle edition. The second reason is the great many development which occurred in the wake of COVID-19 impact needed incorporation in the book. So importance of new edition. Once a new edition is available, never go for the older edition. I have written one line below. So what I mean to say कि this paperback edition is a revised edition upon the Kindle edition which we published on Amazon, and due to two reasons: PT date getting postponed and COVID-19 pandemic. It has basically changed the whole scenario of economic system. What you find in this book, across the chapters of the book, COVID impact have been highlighted from official document, and to lessen the impact, what sort of steps government of India has taken, inclusive of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan package, they have been inserted across the book in, you can say, exam oriented way. This is about the new edition Indian Economy paperback 2020-21. A student asked me through mail or even on WhatsApp, sir, I have such and such edition, your old edition. Should I go for new edition? I remain really surprised. Basically, old edition, new edition books may not matter much in some other subject, but in case of economy of a country, things are so dynamic. Things are so dynamic. You need to be updated every moment. Clear? So after publication of a new book on Indian economy, that is in new edition, based on latest survey and budget and official documents, there is no sense in going for the older edition. That is why I say you importance of new edition is this much. Once a new edition is available, never go for the older one. In older one, certain things might be important, but the very soul of book, the very structure of book goes for change once a new edition has come up. This is all which I wish to share with you in today's webinar. I have to save time for the question and answer session also, which is going to happen just after I say you goodbye. Okay, thank you. Move on to question and answer session. Okay, I will take high priority questions, more important questions, and reply them here. So be with me. One question I am taking of Ayushman Gupta, who intends to ask, is necessary to make notes for UPSC from Ramesh Singh economy. Actually, the book is already in the notes form. Okay, even then, if you feel that some notes should be made, there is nothing wrong in this. Okay. Oh, several of you are interested to know okay, how to link current affairs and prepare Indian economy. Look, I am telling you, until you are not conceptually clear about economics, just cramming current news is not enough. Okay. So what I suggest you, okay, you first develop conceptual clarity on the terms and concept. Okay, how economic system basically functions. How does an economic system function? When you say gross domestic product, there is no need to cram this. What exactly GDP is? What are methods to calculate it and account it? Okay. Then only data related to GDP can make sense to you. Okay. So what I mean to say, till you are not clear about conceptual idea of economic concept, even current news related to economy has no sense for you. Okay. So there is no need to prepare anything in economy or for that matter in any segment unconnected from current. Current must be always with you. Students are interested to know how to include current stimulus basically. You have to just know them and their importance. What stimulus government of India has launched and why. What are its expected impact on Indian economy? That's all. Nothing more. Raj Shekharan, you are asking me what steps government should take to make India self-reliant. Government is already taking, okay? And to the extent this PT exam is concerned, no such subjective question are going to be asked in the examination, okay? Making any country self-reliant is not basically a joke, an overnight job. India announced self-reliance, an objective of self-reliance in 1948-49, part of Planning Commission. Self-reliance has been one of the six major objectives of planning in India. It means in last 70 years, more than 70 years, we have not been able to make ourselves self-reliant. And people define self-reliance in different way. Okay. In today's time, self-reliance doesn't mean unconnect yourself with the outside world. It simply means where you can have achieve self-reliance. It never means I won't go for any import. It never means I won't go for any export. Okay. So every country tries to be self-reliant to the extent it is possible for it. That is what India is also trying. I hope Rajsekharan, you are having your answer. Murugesan have asked same question. New edition is a new edition. You should go for this always. I have already discussed about how important NCRT books are. Okay, listen the webinar. One question I am taking. Gokul Krishna wants to know, please brief about economic growth in agriculture and other sectors after pandemic. To let you know, in times of pandemic, just one sector is doing well, at least till now, that is agriculture sector of India. And policy makers together with the state and central government all are trying to focus upon agriculture. Okay? Because what has gone wrong? Migrant laborers have returned back from urban centers to rural areas. So rural India has now oversupply of labor force. Some of them are coming back to urban areas, but urban areas are not able to offer them enough number of jobs. In the meantime, there is prediction from IMD that this year Indian monsoon will be better. So by the time industries open up, they resume their healthy functioning. Government wishes to scale up the production and growth of India's agriculture sector. That is why during this pandemic, if government has announced certain economic reforms, the most radical and most dynamic agriculture, most dynamic economic reforms have been announced in the sector of agriculture, in marketing, contract farming, and in great many other areas. This is prospect of agriculture sector in our country. How to study budget and economic survey? Budget and economic survey are not basically studied like a book. I told you. First, you need to know about Indian economy and you need to update with budget and economic survey. What economic survey does? Economic survey first gives you idea about performance of Indian economy 1 year back. Then they talked about the impact of policy changes last year. Then they suggest certain things to government of India. What policy actions, which could be new policy actions, government of India should take. Just after 1 day, budget is presented. You will find finance minister picks up great many suggestions of economic survey from just recent time and include them in the union budget. Okay, so budget and economic survey is a kind of this thing. Suppose you are going to study agriculture system of India. First know about the fundamentals of Indian agriculture. Then know in which shape Indian agriculture sector is now. Now come to what economic survey talks about agriculture system of India, and then add it up with what budget has suggested for agriculture system of India. This is how you connect your knowledge with union budget and economic survey. What is importance of current affairs? Current affairs basically what is important for you in newspaper or whatever is coming up in news media. What is important for you for your PT exam, for mains exam, or for the IELTS exam. Once you are able to understand what exactly Indian economy is, what exactly from Indian economy UPSC have been asking and might ask, then only you will be able to pick your news item from newspaper or new magazine. Okay, it means ki current is nothing. Current matters, but it matters only once you are able to connect your knowledge with the current affairs. There is much science in economic news. Economic news has multiple dimensions. It is linked with foreign policy of India. It is linked with space science. It is linked with agronomy. It is linked with you can say physical sciences. It means that economics is not a kind of isolated subject. Rather, you can say general studies all papers are basically multi-dimensional. You can say a broader view of economic life of Indians in in simple words. Okay, science and technology is one dimension of economy. Foreign policy is another dimension of economy. Indian political system is another dimension of Indian economy. Okay, so Indian economy is part of general studies. It is not separated from the general studies. It is very much intertwined. So current makes sense provided you are able to connect current affairs with the basics of economics. Current news you need to naturally update every day. Every day in newspaper or on press information bureau website, important news might not come, which are useful for you. So that insight you should have, that knack you should have, to which news which has come from Ministry of Commerce and Industry, from Ministry of Finance are useful for my exam. Okay. So till you are not clear to what exactly UPSC is going to ask, you may not have clear idea to what exactly is current affairs on economy for my use. Look, there are certain things if you are not able to teach yourself, then you need the help of a good teacher. Okay, so nearby consult a teacher who can give you better idea of economics, who can give you fundamental knowledge of the basic concepts of economics, and who can give you insight how to correlate with economic policy with the current news. Okay, this is what I normally do in the book. Okay, they are high priority questions. Basically, for me now I wish to pick few questions from the low priority, and in micro and macroeconomics both are important, Mr. Ramesh Singh, for your examination. Okay. No such mention you find in the syllabi, okay, whether you are being taught microeconomics or macroeconomics, but you have to be careful if they ask basically random things, anything which has been in news that you consider has impact on socio-economic life of Indian population, they can ask. Naturally, they can ask. So you should be ready for that. Okay, be it micro, be it macro. How to selectively read new version of book. Okay, nothing is selective reading. Okay, suppose you want to know about Indian economy, compare Indian economy with a human body. Can you be able to understand human body by missing its one hand, one leg, okay, its backbone? That will be a random study. Okay. So questions don't come from any segment. Questions are asked on Indian economy. And for that thing, you need to refer and prepare the whole part of Indian economy. Even after preparing for whole economic segment, students are not able to cover a great many number of questions. And I have given you the importance and the idea of how much important Indian economy is. In last few years, this subject has been deciding who is passing PT and who is failing PT. Okay, who is in and who is out. You can just imagine if 45 questions asked on Indian economy out of 100 questions. How much deciding role this part, this subject is playing, you can just imagine. Okay, Ms. Madhurba wishes to know, sir, what is your idea about privatization of public sector bank? Okay, reducing NPA of banks and non-performing assets is part of the process. Okay, but you should not be surprised because public sector banks should be privatized was suggested by Nasimham Committee number 1 in 1991. Okay, yes, you can look upon privatization of government banks as if it is basically selling off a very important asset by government of India. Okay, but it has multiple dimensions. It is not being sold off due to NPA problem. They are being sold due to various reasons. You read in the book also. I have discussed why public sector banks should be privatized, what they've given to the country, and why they can't give now much. Okay, and how the economic and commercial interest of the private sector banks are getting damaged due to presence of public sector banks. Okay, so the thing is that there is nothing wrong in being critical to government policy action, but first try to know why such a policy as the government of India might be taking. First go into the pros, then go into cons. Okay, and for that you need to know the historicity of public sector banks in the country. Okay, in this year's economic survey, there is one chapter, a special chapter on nationalization of banks in the country. Just read that. Okay, I have given a brief in my book this year. But if you want to know bit more, you can read that book also. Thank you. I think we have come to an end, and our webinar has to end here. Clear? See you next time.